Jim Gazzolo, Heath Schwer, Polk Nation, everybody.
Here we go.
Football season's underway.
It's awesome. Hey, how about the first week?
You're a
across the
mountain
country?
man now, aren't you? You're
No,
a mountain
I'm
man.
not a mountain man. But how about the first week of college football? Like the Florida-Utah game, obviously the LSU game. I mean, it's just...
Did LSU remind you of anybody?
Oh, geez.
Miss an extra point to lose a game?
Yeah, jeez. But I will tell you this, and I know we're going to get into it, but the Montana experience was phenomenal. It was bittersweet in a sense. I mean, I thought we played well for a while. But being on the sideline, I'm so encouraged by the culture that's being developed within this program and the accountability and the coaching. And without that, you can never get eventually where you want to go. and we are building a really, I am so excited about where we are with the program. And then the other part I would say is you go there and you talk to all the people in the tailgate, and I walked around the tailgate and hung out, and I had 15 people say, this all started because of McNeese. When we came back there in 2002,
this is where you and I run into problems.
What's that?
I wrote that last week, but you don't read.
I
You
don't
don't
read
read
the
it.
paper. I
That
don't
was
read the
all in the paper. That's why we can't.
I should say that
get there.
what the paper was true or was accurate.
No, when I was doing that, because you guys had all talked about, the reason why I did that was you guys all talked about how you were going to use them as an example. Mm-hmm. So I called up there and said, what is it you do? And they said, well, we learned from you.
Right.
And everybody I talked to up there, which was like 4 or 5 people, said, we learned from the 2002 McNeese State game, which shows me we're not that far removed from having that exact situation back.
And the crazy thing is, and we're going to talk to Corey Tarver and David Griffin about the Friday night block parties, because they're obviously, without them they wouldn't exist. But the one thing I am going to mention is that we have the best, even before the block parties, we had the best FCS tailgate experience in the country, and we still do. And it's even going to be bigger and better this year. Like everyone is welcome to go to the Tarver and to Legacy Jewelers and David Griffin's tailgates. It is going to be phenomenal. There's bounce houses, there's free food, there's big screen TVs, there's air conditioning, and it's all open to the public. They want the public to come. I mean, there's no reason why. I know we're going to talk about Friday night, but on Saturday, this tailgate experience, just those two spots
that and
alone
the 7
are
o'clock
unbelievable.
Game, we'll talk about next week the 7 o'clock games and what that means a little bit more. But just the fact that you're reverting back to that.
Absolutely.
And there's a lot of people that are asking me, what exactly are we going to have before the game? Is the rider coming back? Is Heath going to jump out of a plane? What's going on here? And I say, well, I'd love to see Heath jump out of a plane.
No.
And I always say, if the rider comes back, I'm going to run down and shoot the cannon and try to kill the rider, because I didn't like either one of those things.
What was wrong with you? Like, you don't like the cannon? You don't like...
The cannon blew my head off one time, right?
And the rider.
I wasn't ready. The rider, I don't know. It's just, I'm not a fancy guy. Can't you tell?
Well, I don't know. I've never seen the rider or know anything about it, but so
I'm just saying that I'm not a fancy guy. I like let's go out there and pump heads and see who wins the game.
But let me tell you this: the pregame experience this year will be better than it's ever been before.
That's what
I promise you that.
Now you've put it out there, though.
100%.
You can't. Now you're going to win games, though.
No question. We have to do that. 100. And listen, I know that we're going to get to that too. And listen, nothing is more important than winning football games.
Well, the football was not bad. It was for a half. It was really good. It wore down in bizarre Montana heat of 98 degrees.
But the thing is and I said this to Coach afterwards. Look, he's here for a reason. This thing was in a really, really, really bad place.
Oh yeah,
and in a worse place than I'll ever admit publicly. But it was in a really, really bad place.
No,
and
it was.
And so we've had 4 head coaches in 5 years. And I told him, I said, look, we are light years ahead in so many areas than we were a year ago.
Well,
and he's not here for 1 year or one game. He's here to build a program that we can get back to being a national power, and the foundation is being laid to do that.
No, there was, as I like to tell people, the growth was in the culture and the discipline.
For sure.
There were 2 penalties. That was generally 1 drive last year. There was nobody jumping offside, even though there was 20,000 people, 21,000 people. There was no chaos on the sidelines. There seemed to be an idea and a game plan moving ahead. They wore down in the heat, which was, and they're playing the number 4 team in the country.
Well, look, and at the end of the day, they're better than we are today. That's okay. Let's just admit that they're better than we are today. we lost our way. I said this to one of the booster groups last week. We have lost our way, and we lost it for about 15 years and stopped investing in this in football, and we bled it out, and those days are over. We are reinvesting into it. We understand, and I understand what happened, and it's not going to happen again on my watch. And we're going to get good again because we're going to have the resources that they need to be good.
Well, the campus split. It was an academic campus. It was an athletic campus. Now they are one, so you're moving in the same direction.
Well, I'll go for either step further. There was nothing but silos, right?
Yeah.
Baseball had their deal. Softball, every single person had their own deal, and it was like, this is all mine.
Well, just today
It doesn't
coming in, the president of the university is sitting there watching women's basketball practice in the morning.
Right.
That didn't happen. The president of the university didn't even know where this part of the campus was in the back. We'll come back with our guest this week on Poke Nation after this. We're back on Poke Nation. I guess the biggest thing you get out of those two segments is the fact that their investment is here.
For sure.
Now, is that all you? I mean, how much do you have to sell on this?
It's a team effort, and I think that just being very transparent with people, sitting down with them, asking them questions. I know we talked about that in an earlier segment, but really explain to everyone, and obviously those two, the vision, right? Of where.
Yeah, how important is that for you to get your vision out there so that they follow, that they know what they're investing in?
It's everything. Look, I mean, you can't lead a department sitting behind a desk. You just can't. You can't lead anything sitting behind a desk. People are not going to jump on board. I don't care if it's your team, if you're a coach. I don't care if you're the CEO of a company or think about David and Corey. I mean, they both run multi-million-dollar, institutions. They're out. No one is going to jump on board and be a part of something that, or someone. And it's about people. And sitting behind your desk and being afraid to talk to people or uncomfortable doing that, it doesn't work. So I've really, Jim, have tried to go out and say, hey, this is where we're going. This is where we are. Let's be honest here. This is where we are. I talked about it earlier in the first segment. We have made some very, very bad decisions financially and coaching-wise for years. And that's being honest and transparent. Here's where we're trying to go. Here's where I need your help to help me get there.
Was it a situation of they made a lot of easy choices, do you think?
I don't know.
Coaching-wise, it always seemed like they went next guy up because it's easy.
I don't know. I mean, look. You look at Justin, Hill and James Landry. I mean, those were great hires, and but I just think that I'll be completely transparent here. Look, at the end of the day, okay, there's no athletic department that is ultra successful that don't have the two revenue sports, having people in the stands and having success.
And being the flagship.
And being the flagship. And at the end of the day, okay, you have to invest in those two. And when those two become good, there is more money, there's more exposure, and then everyone benefits from that. Look, Alabama's Olympic sports are really good. You know why? Because they get 100 and some thousand every single game for Alabama football for the last decade. Like when Nick Saban signed the contract, for all this money, there was people written said he's still underpaid for what he's done for Alabama.
Yeah, no problem.
It's just, but it's hard for people sometimes to grasp that. It is a real philosophy, but make no mistake, there's no athletic department in the country that is going to be successful and move the needle for the university until those two sports really become relevant.
Okay, the tailgating and the Friday night, how does that rebrand you? What has that done to rebrand this university?
I think it is a game changer. You can hear the buzz on campus with the kids and the students, the sororities, the fraternities of like this is really cool. This is what we're going to do. This is what we're about, and it's starting to gain momentum. And what we did, and thanks to David and Corey, but our bands have gotten better. The entertainment has gotten better. So I think we'll have a couple thousand, 2,000-3,000 every single concert on a Friday night. And those are people that can come to a game, can buy a ticket, and experience McNeese. This is what McNeese is. Look, we have to double down, and Dr. Roos says it all the time. We have to double down on the college experience. If we want to differentiate ourselves from our competitors, it comes from athletics and experiences. And the block party is a huge reason why we're doing it.
Do you think in the future, especially with the changes in how people look at education and the need for education, that it is going to be more about the experience and having to sell the
100%.
experience?
100%.
And sell the 4 years as a life changer rather than just an educational?
100%. Listen, I'll be completely transparent here. I don't remember one thing from an undergrad class, if you will. But I remember my roommates, I remember the experiences, I remember the stories, and most importantly, it's relationships. The world is about relationships, and you can't develop relationships sitting behind your computer screen all the time. It's about going out and having experiences with people. The block parties are about it. And the world, people do business with people they have relationships with. And that is what the college experience is about, especially the undergrad, in my opinion.
Did you have a $150 bar tab every week in college?
No, I drank.
You wouldn't remember anything.
I drank Milwaukee's Best, and I think Busch Light way back then. I don't drink that anymore.
No, now you're sophisticated. And you always, I will say, you always offer me a free beer, even though now I found out everybody gets a free beer in the tent.
No, well,
So that's a great job there. Way to go out on a limb for me. All right, last question as we go in. What do you want to get out of this year really quickly as far as the tailgates and as far as building the brand?
I want them to be able to, again, reinforce that we have the best tailgate experience in FCS football, and it's not even close. And when people come on a Friday night and they come on Saturday and they come to and I will tell you, the pregame is going to be unbelievable. When they come to a game, they're going to go, wow, this is really fun and this is really cool, and I can't wait to go back next week, and I can't wait to go back next year. And I wonder what they're going to do for basketball. That's what I want them to think.
Big game this week at Rice. Interesting game. It's a space game. You know that?
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Space game. We'll see you next week on Poke Nation.